So we're going to go ahead and get started. So first, my name is Jessica. I am the admissions advisor for the PharmD program. I do see a lot of familiar names, so welcome back. I'm going to allow our students to go ahead and introduce themselves, and then we'll do a quick pre-recorded tour for you guys to get an idea of our college. Okay, so you can start with the introductions. I'll go ahead and pass it on.
Perfect. Thanks for having me. My name is Whitney DK. I'm a P2 student. I'm a non-traditional student here at University of Houston College of Pharmacy. Yeah, nice to meet all you guys.
How y'all doing? My name is Mohammed Al-Nakash. I am a P1 student. Yeah, just finishing up the very first year. And yeah, welcome.
Hi guys, my name is Damila Ladada, or I go by Lola. I'm a current P2 student here at UHCOP. I'm originally from Dallas, Texas. Nice to meet you all.
Hello, my name is Tyler Chen. I'm a P2 student as well, and I was born and raised in Houston, and I went to UH for undergrad as well. Nice to meet everyone.
Okay, thank you guys so much for your introductions. We're going to go ahead and play the video shortly. Just give us a quick moment while we get that situated for you. Can you guys hear it? Awesome.
Hi, let's take a look at the University of Houston College of Pharmacy. Come on in.
This is the main commons area. This is a great central hub of the College of Pharmacy. A lot of the students either study here or even hang out or even just grab a bite to eat. There's also a balcony in the back where students can actually go outside, take a deep breath, catch some fresh air, or just decompress.
One of my favorite things about the University of Houston when I first went there was the commons area. I really like the furniture. I like that there's a wide variety of furniture in the commons. There's chairs that you could relax in, there's chairs that you could lounge in, there's tables, there's big group study room tables, there's plugs in the floor and along the walls, and there's like these little restaurant booth things. It's just a really good space for studying, group studying, talking with your friends, even just eating your lunch. It's just a really, really good space, and I think a lot of the students use it to the best of their ability, or the maximum ability to use the space.
Our students have lots of places to study. They can always study in the main commons, but there's also places for individual study, which is in the individual study carrels. You can have like a quick take right in between classes that you want to squeeze in a couple minutes of study. Students can grab a few of their friends and actually study in the group study rooms. They can check out each of the rooms for 2 hours, and we move this process to an online reservation system, so it's even easier to reserve the study rooms for studying. These are really popular and a great place for students to study on campus. You can link your laptop, your tablet to the screen, and everything is on the university's Wi-Fi. This is one of the 2 large lecture halls that we have. This is where most of our students have the majority of their classes. The lecture halls have microphones at each seat, so you can ask questions to the professor at any time. In addition, lectures are recorded and you can watch through the Blackboard link on your course page. And this is our break room. There are actually 2 fridges that would house all of our students' lunches. And also a great thing about our lunch break area is that a lot of the organization actually have their bake sales, and that's a great way to support the organization, but also get some good lunch in there. There's actually 21 microwaves available, so a lot of the students are able to warm up their food all at the same time in order to grab a bite, and also a place where a lot of organizations host their bake sales. With all the student organizations available, there's a lot of great diversity, and there's a great way for you to support the organizations, but also get a taste of all the different foods that University of Houston College of Pharmacy or student organization has to offer. If you haven't tried Indian samosas, this is a great place to try. This is actually the PCCA Compounding Lab Center. This is where the students will have compounding lab in your first semester of first year of pharmacy school. Students learn how to make different dosage forms, suppositories, troches, creams, lip balm, many different things. We have a partnership with the PCCA, so there's actually PCCA faculty members that come to the University of Houston College of Pharmacy to teach students how to compound. And if you're interested in compounding pharmacy, you're going to love this class a lot. This is where you're going to be in your second year of pharmacy school. You're going to actually earn a certificate in sterile compounding in your fall semester. Many hospital pharmacies require a sterile compounding certificate, and our students at the University of Houston College of Pharmacy earn that certificate when they finish the course successfully. As you can see, the lab has 2 rows of laminar flow hoods with a large screen at the front for the professors to demonstrate various proper sterile compounding techniques. You will learn many different types of compounding with vial or an ampule. If you look closely, there's a speaker behind the hood where the professors would give you feedback to make sure your technique is correct. As you can see, there's surgical sinks in front of you. Here, we also teach our students proper hand washing technique because it's very important to make sure that you are not contaminating any of the items that you're going to compound. Because one thing we want to make sure that our students learn is anything that you compound, patients will actually receive. So proper technique is very important and something that we stress here at the University of Houston College of Pharmacy. As you can see, there's lots of cameras all around. We believe these cameras will give our students ample of opportunities for feedback. The students will actually can see professors compounding or teaching, but in addition, what they'll also learn is to give that feedback so that they can improve, such as the video. In the OSCE rooms, you can see that we are doing patient counseling in the video, and the students are actually being videotaped. Well, the students are also given that footage, and what the students would do is reflect on their technique, their skills, and see which areas they can improve on. So that's one area that we're very proud of. Even though having all this wonderful technology, it's really benefiting our students to improve their skills to ultimately become the best pharmacists they can be.
Here we took what we learned in sterile products compounding lecture into hands-on practice. It was really exciting to get actual hands-on practice and connecting all the concepts together, all at the same time actually earning a certificate in sterile compounding at the end. Each time we were here, we took all aspects regarding the process, as well as the patient considerations into making a product that could save lives. These simulations allowed us to practice looking at all the patient's information, considering the product we were making for them, but also applying the preparations and procedures to make sure we were making a proper and safe sterile product for them. This showed me that sterile compounding is not just a grab a bag and add kind of monotony that you would do at work. Sterile compounding was something that every professional involved has to approach with a thoughtful consideration in order to safely and effectively serve our patients.
This is the OSCE suite. This is the Objective Structured Clinical Examination Suite. This is where students are tested on their skills. A lot of times this is where the examination happens, or we call it the practicals. Here the students actually get tested on patient counseling, how to check for blood glucose, blood cholesterol, as well as blood pressure. The OSCE room is not only just for testing, it's also used more of like a formative assessment, meaning it's going to be students are performing the skills, but more for mainly for feedback. Our students will get a videotape of their performance, and they have that time to review, reflect, and improve on their skills before the exam. Here I wanted you to see how important research is at the College of Pharmacy. On one area, you can see the vast amount of lab space that is available to the faculty member and to our researchers. Students have the opportunity to work on research by contacting their professors or contacting researchers to be on their projects and research papers. Students have a wonderful opportunity to learn about research in addition to developing their skills on posters and manuscripts. As you can see here, there's a lot of posters that our students were a part of, working with many different faculty members as well as pharmacists and physicians at various institutions. As you can see down the hall, these are all the faculty offices. Each of the floors of the College of Pharmacy, you have research on one side and then faculty offices there. Our faculty is very open to our students, and we welcome our students to come and meet us and get to know us as we learn about you. Faculty members can also serve as a mentor to the students, so don't be afraid to get to know your faculty members.
Our professors really have an open door policy here, and I think that's really special and unique because you can go to any one of them and they'll be willing to help talk to you about anything that's going on and try and get you through. And I don't think a lot of other schools can offer that, and that's the biggest thing I can offer is, a work-life balance is hard to achieve, and professors can help you figure that out, as well as trying to decrease your stress level. And one thing I would definitely suggest is try and figure out how to manage your work time and your play time, because if it's just all work with no play, you're gonna burn out very quickly, and that's not what we wanna see here. We're here to help you guys succeed, so good luck out there with your interviews.
In this room, what we call the active learning room, this is where many of your skills lab will take place, in addition to some of your lectures. This is where you'll practice your communication skills in various situations, and this is where you'll have a lot of your non-communication skills lab in the first year, such as physiology, biochemistry, calculations, drug cards, and a variety of others. There's a microphone at each table that allows a more collaborative student experience and allows for student participation. We actually do a lot of think, pair, share, group work, individual work, as well as pairing of students together. We role play a lot in this classroom too as well. So the room, as you can see, can either be divided, so it can have a smaller classroom setting, or it can be opened up for a larger, expansive, and more inclusive environment. As you can see, the room is quite versatile.
Our professors do a really good job of giving us real-life scenarios that pharmacists go through on a day-to-day basis. Sometimes these role-playing activities can be done in our groups, but a lot of the times the professors also, can call you, and it can be done in front of the whole class, and those can be fun for sure.
I hope you enjoyed the tour of the college, and I hope you can imagine yourself here at the University of Houston College of Pharmacy.
Okay, great. So now that you've gotten a better idea of what the college looks like, we can go ahead and get started and have our students share a little bit about their experience, and then you can picture like the areas that they are talking about. So we'll start with the morning. So usually our students do get here pretty early. So we just want to hear a little bit about like your morning routine, your commute, maybe your morning classes. So you guys can go ahead and get started and then just chime in what you would like.
I can go ahead and start if no one else wants to. Okay. So my morning, I'm the type of person, I guess I'm a P2 now. So my P1 year, if we had to be here by 9, I was waking up at 8:15, and it was like a 30-minute drive. And I just felt like everything was super rushed. And I just feel like that didn't really help me. So now we have to be in class by 8 a.m. and I wake up at 6. I wake up, I do my full facial routine, I have music going, I cook a full breakfast, and then I drive like 10 minutes to school. And I just feel like my mornings are so much easier. I'm awake by the time I get into class. I'm not hungry, I'm not tired because I've eaten a full meal. And that just helps me, I guess, be ready to like listen more and just interpret what the professor is saying. That's kind of how my mornings go.
So for me, it's a little bit different. I live a little bit further away from the school. I live in Katy. So no traffic. You're looking at like about a 45-minute drive. But I like mornings. So I'm usually up around 4 a.m. And usually go to the gym. So I might get to the gym by like 5, and then I'm heading to school around like 6:30. So in that time, traffic is really not too bad. And I do carpool with one of the students in my class, so it does make it easier to get here. Still takes about, again, like carpooling, about 40 minutes to get here. But I'm here like around like maybe 7:15-ish. And that classes don't start till, for us mainly, they don't start till 9 o'clock. So that gives us a lot of time to kind of review stuff, kind of get ready for the class. And it's been very, very, very helpful.
I also live in Katy as well. So a little bit about my morning routine. I wake up typically around 3:30, 4 o'clock if I'm tired, and I try to get some studying in till about 5:30 in the morning. Then around 5:30, I get my kids' food ready, get their lunchbox ready, get them a bath, and then we start commuting roughly around 6:45 in the morning. They go to school here near campus, so I drop them off, and then I'm here maybe around 8 o'clock sharp, and I'm walking straight into class. P2, we start around 8 o'clock, but last semester, P1, it was around 9 o'clock, so I had a little gap to study some more, but now I go straight to class.
What about you, Tyler?
Oh, my morning commute, it's like 15 minutes drive because I wake up a little bit later. I don't wake up early like everyone else, but I live out in Sugar Land, so I'm a commuter as well. And usually I get to school maybe 10 minutes before classes start, but I'll get my coffee and then I'll show up.
Yeah, I'm more like Tyler. I always get here like right on time. Another thing is that we do have a coffee shop in the second floor. So like the College of Pharmacy is on the third floor. So if you're ever running late, but you want coffee, like you literally just go stop by on the second floor and you can get yourself a cup of coffee. And what about your morning classes? Like I know some of you are morning people. Do you feel like those go by faster? Do you enjoy your morning classes better than the afternoon, or is it about the same?
They give me the morning class versus the afternoon class are two different vibes. The morning class, I'm just straight, I'm wide awake, I have my coffee. Afternoon class, it's been a long day, but I also have my second cup of coffee. So it's just still like, the morning is like, okay, I'm fresh, but then the second half is like, okay, I'm almost there. So, still, energized, but two different vibes.
Yeah, I could say the same for us in like P1 year. Morning classes, like I'm wide awake at that point. But especially right now, I'm a little bit fasting, so I can't get that caffeine intake in after lunch around lunchtime. So I'm a little struggling with that. But the afternoon classes are fairly straightforward for us, I feel like, this semester. So it's not too much, using a brain power to try to power through.
Of course, make my breakfast, everything. I'm up normally in the mornings, but another good thing that I like, even if you have a whole bunch of classes, let's say you have 4 classes back to back, they always give you a 10-minute gap in between each class. You stay in the same room, you stay in the same seat. So in that 10 minutes, that's when you can go to the bathroom, you can go grab some coffee. Sometimes if I am tired, I take a quick nap. I'll set an 8-minute timer, sleep a little bit, wake up, and I'm good, little power nap for the next class. So even if you do get a little tired, like they do give you time to kind of like, recuperate, get it together for the next class. So it's not too bad.
Okay, awesome. So before we move on to like your lunch break, is there anything else that you want to share about like your morning and your usual morning routine? No? Okay. So like I mentioned earlier, our students are here from about 8 to 5. It varies depending on your year, but then lunch breaks are on the same time for everybody. So usually I believe around 12 to 1:30 or something like that. So what do you guys do during that lunch break besides eating when you do?
I absolutely love the lunch break. So it's a little bit different when I was in P1 and P2. P1 is very important it's very important to network in general, but it being your first year here, I use my lunch breaks to network with people, find friends and just bond a little bit more. And then starting P1 second semester, I utilize my lunch breaks to eat and then go study in the library. So that's my lunch break P1. P2, I'm straight to the library because we're here for an extended amount of time and we have like an hour to an hour, 30 minutes. So those are my study times. So that's what I do now as a P2, but P1 definitely bond a little bit more.
Yeah, I can really, I 100% agree with what you said, Whitney. Especially at the very beginning in P1, you're trying to get to know everybody in the school, like in your class. There's like about 120 people in there. So y'all still trying to get to know each other. So yeah, definitely a lot of networking, but you're also trying to get to know the other upperclassmen as well, like, P2s, P3s, and they're all really, really wonderful. But for me personally, what I do is like, I would, depends if I have like an org meeting, which they're really, really wonderful orgs here. A lot of the time those events happen during lunch. So it'd be either like the first half of lunch or the second half. So depending up and like when it would be, sometimes I would study and then just eat my lunch while I'm attending that org, because there are really, really fun events happening in there. Or, you know, if I have an exam and I really cannot attend any org for that day and I'm trying to just make sure that I review, then I'm typically in one of the study rooms with like another like four or five students, and we're just kind of reviewing. So it really depends, but there's an hour and a half total for lunch. So it's very, very flexible. You can split it however you'd like.
So for P2s, I believe on one of the days, our lunch is almost 3 hours. It's like 2 hours and 40 minutes. We get out at 10:50 and don't start class again until 1:30. It depends on how the day is going. If I don't want to be productive, I'm going to sit and I'm going to watch Netflix for the entire lunch. Or I don't know, I just like to get things done. Like I could go, I don't know, like to my dentist appointment or to a doctor's appointment. Like you have more than enough time to do anything you need. Sometimes I study during lunch, kind of rare, I'm not going to lie to you. Because I normally just like to do that when I'm at home. Like when I'm at school, I like to absorb all the information. So during lunch, I'm not really a studier. I'm more of like a relax, unwind, get ready for the second half of the day. So that's really what I do during lunchtime.
During my breaks, I usually go up to the research lab if it's like the super long one, and I'll just clean up some busy work that I have left, or I will go to meetings with professors or org meetings as well.
Awesome. So I know you guys mentioned about some events that sometimes do happen during lunch breaks. Can you give us a little bit of more info on what kind of events you do have?
There's a large variety of events that occur. I think some of the more popular ones would be like the clinical side events where they teach you more about like naloxone and what to do with overdoses. There's so many different orgs and they have like educational seminars at lunch, and sometimes they bring in like guest presenters from people that are experts in their field. I think one org brought in a clinical pharmacist that was a pediatric clinical pharmacist and an oncology clinical pharmacist as well. So there's just a lot of options.
Yeah, I agree with that. Some of the most like the ones that stood out to me was actually even this semester. We have like a variety of professors here and from like different backgrounds, and they do other stuff outside of just school. So we have like ambulatory care professors here. One of them is Dr. Deek. I remember attending an org meeting where they set up and they, you know, got the professor in, and they're doing like a day in the life of a ambulatory care pharmacist. And it was very, very interesting because you get like hands-on, like first seeing it, how it is like in, you know, how their field work, and that way kind of get a little bit more of an idea of what they do on day-to-day basis and how they react with how they interact with their patients and just what the scope of it. So you definitely get more information attending those events. And there's also like the very fun events, like for example HPSAs, the Hispanic pharmacy community here. They do fun events like, you know, some sort of bingo or they just different events, and it's very, very interesting. It just kind of helps you kind of relax a little bit and kind of de-stress and just get your mind off of studying. So it's definitely very, very helpful and a lot of fun too.
And one thing I do like about the organizations here, even if you're not a member to a particular organization, and for instance, if they have a speaker coming in that interests you, they're very welcoming. So you can just go to those meetings and learn about, you know, the speaker and what they do. So I really like that as well. Very open door policy here. So much you can do during your lunch breaks, and so much food too. Each organization, they provide all kinds of food. So if you never bring lunch, just go to a meeting and, you know, grab some bites and learn some stuff. So it was very, very fun during the lunch breaks as well.
Oh yeah, guys, you don't have to worry about food. There's food everywhere here. Food, snacks, you name it. Like I think today they're giving out like lunch meals to like the students. They also do snacks every once in a while during lunch. It's just really amazing. Ice cream, whatever you can think of.
I know sometimes I can't even keep up on like when you guys are getting food. Like I'll just walk by and I see like there's a line and I'm like, oh, there's probably food somewhere. So now that we've gotten a little bit more info on like your lunch break and how you use that time to either relax, study, or just eat. What about like your afternoon, like after lunch? I know earlier you guys were mentioning how like after the, like in the afternoon you get a little bit more tired. So what about like your classes then? And like I know you mentioned also the vibes were different. So just tell us a little bit more about that afternoon portion.
So for P2, our afternoon are labs, typically on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So we have our lab. So it's more interactive. So we do different projects, different hands-on learning activities. So it's very interactive. So it kind of keeps you awake. But I like that they give you breaks because they understand that it's a long day. So they definitely, spread out the breaks. So during those breaks, you can go in the hallways, you can talk to your friends, you can get that camaraderie from everybody, or go back to the coffee shop and get you another cup of coffee. So yeah, so it's really interactive in that afternoon portion so you can stay awake.
So for me, still as a P1 student, it definitely has changed from like my first semester. Sorry. Okay. From my first semester to my second semester. The very first semester, the afternoon classes were a little bit different. But for us right now, like it kind of depends on the day. Sometimes you'll actually have afternoon class and sometimes you don't. And especially like in skills, sometimes it's split. So after lunch, you could have the rest of the day off. You don't have any other classes for that day. And they do a great job at like balancing it where you'd have like maybe one day very heavy, one day is like medium, and 1 or 2 days like very light. And you can kind of use that time to, like, I personally, I believe like Lola was saying that earlier, I like to study while I'm at school. So that way when I can get home, I'm worried about the stuff that's going on at home. I have a 50-pound husky that's in my face as soon as I open the door. So she will not let me study at all. She just like goes and gets her leash and she's like, all right, let's go. So I like to get everything done in school. So definitely I take advantage of that afternoon time for myself.
Do any of you guys stay after class is over for any meetings or any other like organization events?
I'd say yes, at least once a week. I think all of us here have some type of executive position in some type of org or some type of class. So we all normally either host or have to go to multiple meetings throughout the week or every other week. I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Yeah, so just following what Ms. Lola said, I typically don't stay after for meetings, but I do stay after to study some more. So they have another library on the second floor with the optometry students. So I kind of study there just to get a different area, different scenery. But if I do have a meeting, typically it's via Zoom. I like how it's very flexible, but it's usually like later in the evening. So I'll probably study a little bit and then I'll make my commute home. And then I might have another meeting like at 8:00 p.m. So that's typically my day-to-day.
Typically, I don't like to stay after because my commute back to Sugar Land, and then I work at the Methodist in Sugar Land as well. So usually my shift starts at 6. So if classes end at 4:30, I'll get there like with 30 minutes to spare at the hospital. I'll just study for 30 minutes there.
So for me, living in Katy, if I were to leave anytime after, I want to say 3:30 from here up until I want to say 6:30, close to 7, it would take me at least an hour to an hour and 20 minutes to get home. And that's like almost double the regular commute with no traffic. So I do prefer, I mean, I didn't do that last semester. I would leave right away and be stuck in traffic. But this semester, it's been very, very helpful to just kind of catch up on everything for the day. So I do stay here and study until like around 7:00. And then I usually head home, be there like about 30 minutes.
Okay, awesome. So most of you do have like a pretty busy schedule with school and then your orgs. So what do you do to relax or to have that school life balance?
I'm pretty big on self-care. Like I'm just a self-care type of girl. That's why my mornings take me so long. Like I do my full, like I get the steamer out and sometimes do a little mask, like things like that. You just have to find stuff that you enjoy and really focus on that. I like to work out. I like to play volleyball. So I just make sure I find some type of time for that. Also, organization is very, very important. As a P1, I was organized, but not as organized as I am now. Because if you don't have a calendar and like you will miss deadlines and like they'll be super, super important. So what I like to do is just have my calendar at the beginning or like the day before each month starts. I just write in everything. That way I don't miss anything. I stay on top of my P's and Q's, and then I can fit in like where I like to do the stuff that I like to do so that I don't like burn out or get too stressed.
Personally, I'm still learning on how to balance that out. Especially right now because we're getting it's getting close to like finals, or like this week I think I have like 3 different exams, which doesn't really happen often. It's very, very rare, but it's my focus is more on that. But I feel like my like thing that I do to relax the most and kind of de-stress would be going to the gym. Like at least an hour there definitely helped me out and sets me up to like more of a productive kind of day. So that's why I kind of do it in the morning. Other than that, I do take just honestly, everyone here, especially the students that we have right now in the panel, they're like the most amazing people. And honestly, just talking to them sometimes is just very, very helpful. So reaching out and just talking to your colleagues, other students, even your P2, P3, if you're a P1 student, it definitely helps you out, and they're more than eager to help you out and even offer just honestly just to hear you out. Sometimes that's just more than enough to kind of de-stress and get back on task.
Yeah, I will agree with Muhammad as well. Self-care and trying to balance is something I am actively working on, but I will say that in the second year is better. So I have utilized the working out. Miss Lola has actually helped me out with that. So just like Muhammad said, there's a lot of people that are here to help you and guide you through. So now I do try to work out 3 times a week. And that's been very, very great for me. I feel better. And then just talking to friends and going out. So those are things that I do for self-care, but working out has been very, very helpful for me in terms of reducing my stress. So yeah.
For me, whenever I have time, I'll just go out with like catch up with pharmacy friends or undergrad friends. On weekends when I have off, I'll like schedule it out in advance to when I'll go see certain people and just get away from school as well.
Okay, awesome. Thank you guys for sharing. Lola, I know that you had, I think, a North meeting during your break. So if you do need to leave, you can. Thank you so much for joining. But we will be moving forward with our Q&A session. In the meantime, while we wait on more questions to be asked, do you guys have any other items that you would like to share at this point, like any other extracurriculars or anything else that you think our students would like to know?
All I would like to tell you guys is sometimes it may seem overwhelming, but there's a way. So definitely just be involved, talk to people. It's not so scary. It's actually very fun. So, one thing about University of Houston is extremely focused on academics, but there's a lot of things going around it that really helps you get through it. So there's people here, just start and you will finish.
Very, very well said. I agree. One thing I would add to that, also anything that you can think of, they have, and even more. There's a lot of resources here. I actually came into pharmacy school last year, and I've been out of school for a few years. So I was I think putting it lightly, I was a very lousy student, and I did not know how to get myself organized and be able to study very well. But there's a lot of resources here, and you just get in the rhythm. It's very, very easy, and everything will seem a lot easier in no time.
Okay, great. So let's get started with our questions, some for our other students. So our first question, how can I prepare myself prior to the start of my P1 journey? I am admitted for fall of 2023, but I am wondering if I should get a farm tech license prior to schooling, or is that not necessary? What is your recommendation? So I'll start first just off of an admission standpoint. It is not required for admission purposes, but then I'll let our students talk if you did get that certification beforehand or what items you did to prepare.
I would say no, because the school will give you your intern's license. And I think during your P1 year, there's like an internship mixer, and they'll pretty much throw you at an internship site. I know CVS and Walgreens are really big ones for P1 year, but they also have hospital internships that open up as well. But there's a lot of different options out there, but I wouldn't stress about getting one right now.
I definitely second what Tyler is saying. I was a farm tech at CVS before school started while I was doing undergrad before I got into pharmacy school. But once I got here, I actually did get a job at Walgreens through that mixer. The pharmacist was really, really nice. I met him at, University of Houston College of Pharmacy. So it's really nice that they set that up with you. Like they bring Kroger, Walgreens, CVS out, like they bring them to the school so that you can host like an interview or like a mixer at the school. And like, it makes the process so much easier. So yeah, the school helps you out with that.
Yeah, I agree with that. I've actually never ever set foot in a pharmacy before. Never worked as a tech. I mean, I did work in retail, so I know where the pharmacy's at, but I've never personally been involved in pharmacy in any way. And I was just fine, perfectly fine. Again, like whenever you, like Tyler, I believe said, you get the intern license very quickly, I believe in the very first semester. So that, it technically, don't correct me on this, I'm not sure, but it's pretty much it's the same because you'll be able to do the same as a tech. Is that correct, guys? As an intern? Because I haven't done my IPE just yet. I'm gonna do that this summer.
It looks like Whitney's saying that you are correct. So then for our next question, what study methods did you find helpful for you, and did those methods change as you changed years?
One thing that I would say is the first year, I studied alone a lot, and I still do, but the new thing that I'm doing is I do incorporate a lot of study sessions. So there's different people with different strengths, so we kind of work on those things. So study session has been very helpful because if you can teach it, then it really enhances your grade. So I would recommend study sessions. That has been very beneficial for me.
This will be the last question I answer before I go. Sorry, Mohammed. This gonna be the last question I answer before I go. Studying, for me, it changed. My P1 year, I wasn't doing too great. I was trying to make like these really big and colorful reviews because I thought I was a visual learner. That's how it was during undergrad. That's what got me through, but I wasn't getting the results and scores that I needed. So, you have to change something. You have to change fast so that you can stay up and keep up with classes. So my new method is literally just studying this, like taking really good notes on the slide that the teachers or that the professors present. And I just go, through that way, and that increased my scores so much. So even if you think you have a specific learning style, like once you get to pharmacy school, it's okay to change. It's okay to, like revamp it a little bit. Just make sure like you ask for help early, because if you wait too long, like, these classes go by pretty fast and you do have to pass all your classes. So just don't wait. But that's all for me. Nice meeting you guys.
That's actually very, very great advice. Definitely second that. Taking notes in class will be very, very helpful. A lot of times the professors will kind of sometimes they'll drop hints on like important topics, important ideas, and you can almost guarantee they're going to be on that exam. One of like immunology, for example, it will say like big concept. He'll even write it on the slide. So, like, yeah, you would do very well to remember that. It would definitely help you. Other things that I did like last semester, again, I did not do very well just because I was adjusting. And I did a lot of like solo studying. This semester, what I would do is actually would study everything on my own and then would go into group work. And what we also started doing is we depends on how many chapters we're covering, how big the material is we have like a big group of students, and we would just divide up the work. After we study and learn everything, somebody will choose a preferred chapter, and they would kind of like summarize everything based on what the professor was talking about, based on their own notes. And whenever we get all together in the group work, we just kind of like present it. That person would present it to the rest of the class and kind of teaching it for the very first time. But everybody already knows that material, so they'd be able to pick up on extra things, or if there was an error, they'd be able to correct it, and then everybody would be on the same page. So it just kind of like helps divide up the work.
Okay, awesome. And then another thing to mention is that we do have peer tutoring available. So that's another resource that you can use if you are finding yourself having trouble with certain classes. Just drop in those tutoring sessions. So I think that you might find that helpful. And then for our next question, which was Penelope's original question, what made you want to be a pharmacist, and why is that valuable to you?
Well, my first degree is nursing. So just working in the hospital and working with lots of disciplinary teams, I really saw that pharmacy is like the center of medicine. And I knew that nursing was just my stepping stone, but it wasn't my end goal. And I was finding out what that end goal was for me. And I found that in pharmacy, because I felt like pharmacy can help a lot of people, and that's what I wanted to do for my end goal. So that's when I went back to school. Now that I'm in school and learning so much material, I'm so satisfied with this choice, simply because I'm able to help my family. I can help a lot of other people, but I'm able to educate my family on different things. So there's different things, like when I go to the hospital, that I see through my education as a pharmacist, that, things should be done a little bit better. So I'm able to help them, and I feel just like self-fulfilled doing that.
Initially working in a retail setting, before I went to pharmacy school, I was working at CVS as a technician. A lot of patients in my area weren't able to afford their medication. So that's kind of like why I wanted to go into pharmacy. What we would do is like provide them with the knowledge of other programs available, like HEB's maintenance medication program, where they would have cheaper maintenance meds, like for metformin, which is for diabetes, probably costs them $10 for a 90-day supply rather than going through CVS for $60. So little things like that really made me feel good, because I did my undergrad degree in public health, and a lot of social health determinants would be resolved just at the pharmacy setting. And a lot of people would go to the pharmacist because they didn't have the funds to go see their PCP. So we would do like the very minor things, like look at cuts and scratches and burns and tell them if they actually need to go see a doctor, or if they could be treated with over-the-counter therapies. And then that's pretty much like why I want to do pharmacy, and getting more experience in a hospital setting. There's so much more, and so many errors you catch as a pharmacist and an intern, and you get to like help people a lot.
Me personally, there's kind of two major reasons. One of them is my sister's actually a pharmacist, so that had a lot to, it kind of influenced my decision to get into pharmacy school. But the other thing is just I had a really great relationship with the pharmacists, both pharmacists that actually worked at the HEB that I regularly took care of, like in my job before getting to pharmacy school. And just seeing how there are the resource in the community, how people actually go to the, because I mean, if you have a question and you want to go ask a doctor, you have to pay a copay, or at least as if you have insurance. And just these people are like kind of being there for the community, and they're there as a free resource, and very, very knowledgeable. They know everything there is to know about the drugs, and they will definitely help you out, or at least refer you if it's an issue that you can't kind of take care of with an OTC. But I would say the major thing is I feel like the more I spend time here, the more I find reasons why this is the career for me. One of the biggest things that happened this semester especially was we learned a lot about hypertension, like different stuff like that, as you progress in the curriculum. But also you go on health fairs with the organizations that you join, and we did one in a very in a community that really, really needed it, and just getting that one-on-one with the patients, just see how much very simple, like it wouldn't even take that long, maybe 5-10 minutes with the patient, and you'd be able to impact their lives in a very, very major way. It's humbling, and it's very rewarding. I would say that.
Yeah, every time that I hear you guys answer this question, I'm like, I want to be a pharmacist too. So for our next question, why did you choose UHCOP?
There
I
was no,
chose. You could go, Whitney.
well, I mean, it was no other school that I really wanted other than University of Houston. I did go here as well for my undergraduate, so I know how great the school is. Unfortunately, at that time, they didn't have the nursing program, so I had to go to a different school just for the nursing program. But I've watched this school. I've lived in Houston for like over a decade now. I've watched the school grow, add different departments. It's a wonderful school, good reputation in the community. So there was no other choice but University of Houston. So I was pleasure that they accepted me. It was an honor.
For me, I might be biased, but I went to UH for undergrad as well, like Whitney did. And my family's here as well, so that's why I chose UH. But also at the time when I was making a decision, I was ready to leave Houston. I got an offer from UT Austin and I was ready to go there. I went there to go visit on campus, and I just didn't like the vibes because there was like no diversity there. So that's why I chose Houston, because the diversity.
For me personally, I feel like it's Houston kind of became my home. I am from Iraq, and this kind of like, everything that was going on over there, it kind of couldn't go back there. So Houston became my new home, and I've been here like almost 15 years now. Whenever I did decide to go to pharmacy school, I heard so many great things about Houston, the University of Houston College of Pharmacy. And also, I mean, it's a plus at every turn. Also think about it this way. We have like one of the biggest medical centers in the world, and the University of Houston is kind of like the pipeline to that. So just imagine the amount of connections, the amount of knowledge, the amount of just everything that you can be taught here at University of Houston, and how much that would serve you in your career.
Thank you. Our next question, when do students typically decide which field of pharmacy they want to go into?
I don't think there's a time when they make you decide. I feel like once you start, you will figure out what's best for you. I know when I started P1, I wanted to be clinical pharmacist. We're coming from the hospital. That's what I wanted to do. But as the years continue to progress, you start finding who you are. So now I'm actually thinking of something completely different. So it depends on when you get that light bulb in your head and you're like, okay, this is my interest. And then you start doing things to now cater to that interest. So it depends on the person.
Yeah, and I would say that's what the orgs are there for. There's different orgs for different types of careers. There's ambulatory, there's industry, there's community, and joining, or even, you don't even have to join. You can actually go to their general meetings for free without having to pay anything, and they'll have food there too. And you can just sit and listen to people in that field, because they'll bring like a lot of great guest lecturers, and they talk more about that field. Also, I believe last semester we did a like SP1s. There's this one kind of quiz thing that you got to take, and it will kind of tell you what most likely the careers based on your answers, where you would kind of fit in there. But just know that the more time you spend in here, that might change. So definitely, if you're interested in anything, and if you have the time, go for it. Join all these orgs and kind of just see what they're all about, and that will definitely help you make your choice. But yeah, there is no timeline, definitely.
Yeah, and then I have heard a lot from like our current students, especially like P4s, where they come in and they're like, oh, I want to do this. But then throughout the years, like you're doing different I guess appies and whatnot, and you start kind of realizing that you want to do something else or go a different route. So it's okay, like you don't have to have a set answer at any point. You can continue changing any pathways. And then for our next question, So do any of you guys work either full-time or part-time?
Yes. So I currently work 2 jobs. I work on the weekend, Saturday and Sunday. So Saturday, I work at Memorial Hermann as a critical care nurse. And on Sunday, I work at Houston Methodist Hospital and Medical Center as a pharmacist intern. So yes, I do work. And if you do work, it's definitely doable as well.
I agree with Whitney. I work at Houston Methodist Sugarland, and I still work at CVS as well.
Okay, I guess I'm feeling like I'm the laziest between you guys. So me personally, I do work as well. Last semester, I did not work at all because I was trying to, again, manage my time and figure all that out. By this semester, even though it's a little bit more classes, it's a little bit more concentrated, I feel like I was able to manage my time a lot more. I do work, I only have the 1 job. I do work on the weekends, but it's really not work. I feel like it's more of a break.
Okay, our next question, let's see, for P1 year, did you like Physiology 1 or Physiology 2? And how is the medicinal chemistry and microbiology courses?
I can say for P1, I love Physiology 1 and 2 because of my backgrounds. I love patho. I still love it. It's actually something I enjoy because it kind of connects everything together. So I definitely think that that's a foundation to every course. In terms of medicinal chemistry, me being a non-traditional student like Muhammad and being out of school for some time, it was a challenge because it's like chemistry and things you learn like an undergrad. So that was more challenging. However, you can seek tutoring. You can do your peer-to-peer tutoring. That's what I had to do. Actually, my colleague here, Tyler, was one of the people that helped me out with chemistry. Don't know like the word, but yes. So I tagged a friend who was really skilled at it. He helped me through it. So it was a challenge for me, but it's doable. Microbiology was fine.
Okay, so I have that exam this Friday in 2 days. So Tyler, I'm coming to you for sure. Physio, I definitely agree with Whitney. Physio is really, really fun. It's very, very interesting. You get wonderful professors. I'm in physio too right now, and it's been very, very amazing. I love it. I really, really love it, really enjoy it. And the professors are very, very passionate about it. Actually, in all the classes. As far as the medical chemistry, chemistry is not really so much my favorite topic, like especially organic chemistry, but I like regular chemistry. So I was definitely struggling even before the first exam. But kind of like Whitney, I have really, really amazing friends here, and that they, like, within 2 days, I was able to get pretty much everything I needed to get for the exam. I ended up with a B, which I'm not, upset about in any way, because on my own, I would have probably not have passed that. But I did a B from just that section. And it's all really thanks to, the students that you're with. So they're valuable resource.
Tyler, do you remember your experience with that course?
For medchem, for me, since I was like fresh out of undergrad, I still knew like the foundational stuff of orgo. I would say the organic chemistry aspect of medchem is the very baseline stuff. Orgo 2 wasn't really used much. Orgo 1 is just being like finding R and S isomers, which was the hardest part, and just naming the compound. But for me, I really had to dumb it down. Like I'll just look at the picture and be like, oh, it's that one with the circle with like the oxygen on it. Little things like that. And I'll just like relay that little dumbed down mnemonic I'd make for my friends.
I'll definitely need that mnemonic, please.
Oh yeah, he dumbed it down for me for sure.
Okay, so as our webinar is coming to a close, I'll be staying behind to read some of the questions that were answered by our students. But if you could take a quick minute to fill out the survey that I just dropped in the chat box. It's a short survey, about four questions. You can add your email address at the bottom if you like, if you want me to follow up with you on anything, but if not, it's optional, so it could be completely anonymous. So just take a couple of moments to complete that. And for our students that are here today, thank you so much for your time. I know you guys have a shorter break, so if you do have to leave, you can. But if you want to stay behind, you're also welcome to. But thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule. I really appreciate you. Some of you I'm just meeting for the first time today. It is so great meeting you, and I hope that we can work together on different projects soon. And then if you ever want to stop by, just let me know, okay? Oh, yeah, I do have to stop by to fill out some documents, so don't forget.
Thank you guys so much. I'm actually going to head out because I'm going to have an exam in 30 minutes, but thank you all so much for having me. It's been a pleasure. Thank you guys. Have a great one.
You too. Good luck with your exam.
Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Have a good one. It was a
Thank you,
pleasure.
Whitney.
Bye-bye.
I don't have anything, so
Okay,
I'm here
awesome.
if you need me.
We'll see together. All right, so again, just take a couple of moments to fill out that survey, and we'll just continue answering some questions that are left. Some of these questions I think are a little bit more geared to our P4 students, which unfortunately, I think they're already out, like they're no longer on campus, or they rarely ever are. Like your P4 year, you're doing experiential, so you're not really here. But they're done with that. They're going to be graduating soon, so we're so proud of them. I'm not sure if you, Tyler, would know, what are clinical rotations like?
I know your P4 year, it's like back-to-back 6-week blocked rotations. I know you have to do 7 of them. I think only 2 of them you get to pick which ones you actually want to do. I know it's on the website where it lines out like which ones are required, and only one of them can be like not patient focused. So you could do like industry pharmacy or insurance, compounding, or veterinary pharmacy. There's a lot of different options, and you do get to pick which rotations you get to go to. It's kind of like a matching system, it's an algorithm. So you just put in like your rankings on which ones you want to go to, and then the deans that are in charge of that will set you up with a coordinator.
Okay, yeah, because I have heard that some of them are required, and then others you do get to pick. So I guess once you're like through your P1 through P3 year, you kind of get an idea of like what you want to choose your P4 year. What about this? So are Farm Day students allowed to play sports at UH?
I know a couple of my classmates do play sports, not the professional kind of ones, but just like the intramural.
Intramural?
Is that what it's
Yeah, I
called?
can
Yeah,
imagine.
like at the rec. Yeah, so they could do that, but the professional ones no, because they travel a lot. And if you travel that much, I don't think they'll let you continue with certain classes.
Okay, so one question was, what are some of the career options in your field? And again, there are so many options. So Lola's answer was there are thousands of options for pharmacy. Just to list a few: industry, specialty, ambulatory, psychiatric, research, HIV, oncology, retail, and much more. One good resource that I like to share, especially with prospective students, is pharmacyforme.org. So they actually have a list of a lot of the options. It's a website that is run by current practicing pharmacists. So if you do want to do a little bit more research before you start pharmacy school, you can do that. So I'll just drop that there. What about you, Tyler? Like, do you have an idea of like what route you want to go?
I would love to do a fellowship with industry pharma, but it's very competitive. So I don't know if I'll get a spot, but I still have a lot of time.
I'm sure you will. Are you a P2 or P3?
P2.
P2. Awesome. Let's see. Let me scroll. Okay, and then another question was about our building tour. So if anybody's interested in a building tour, I'll drop the link in our chat box, but it's an in-person tour. So if you are interested in that, I'll go ahead and drop it there. And then our next question, does the school offer housing closer to campus? Lola's answer was yes. There are approximately 6 different places that are considered on-campus housing, all within walking distance of UHCOP. There are also shuttles that you take to and from different classes and locations throughout the campus. And then also there is a lot of apartments available outside of on-campus housing. So we do have this cute PDF that's a guide from, I believe, current students in 2022. So we need to update it, but in 2022, this is where our students were living when they were renting. So I'll drop this there if any of you want to review, especially if you're not familiar with the Houston area. It will show you like the different neighborhoods and kind of like what to expect and what is available in those areas and how far away they are from campus, and then like what percentage of our students live in those specific neighborhoods. Do you think 9 years experience or any experience at all in the field as a tech in different types of pharmacy, hospital, retail, independent, mail order would make pharmacy school easier? And then Lola's answer was school would be difficult, but your work and graduate background can make things much easier. So yes, absolutely. Tyler, did you have pharm tech experience before you applied to pharmacy school?
Yeah, I did. I just had retail experience at CVS, but the first year they do teach you the top 200 drugs. Well, I wouldn't say they teach you, they give you a list and they expect you to come within the deadlines to like take the quiz for them. But having that experience already helped me a lot with just like basic drug knowledge, because a lot of my classmates, you'd ask them like, oh, what's like lisinopril for, which is blood pressure. I'd be like, oh, I know that one. But the hardest part was learning how to spell them.
Okay. Okay, so then yeah, it's kind of helpful. So our next question, what is the time schedule like for spring, fall, and summer, beginning to end of classes, and what is the dress code for each day? So Lola's answer was the school days are normally 8 to 5:30. This is the earliest and latest that you will have class. But on certain days, we could have class for only 2 to 3 hours a day or be finished with class by 11:50. So I think earlier, like even when they were talking about their day-to-day life, as you can hear, it kind of depends on like your year, right? Because I think when you're at P1, they were saying they start earlier, and then as a P2 or vice versa, I think P1 you start a little bit later, P2 a little bit earlier, something like that. Yeah, so then it'll vary. And then for the dress code, it can be business casual, business professional, white coat and business professional, scrubs, or casual. So I think you have specific days in which you have to wear a specific like dress code, or how does that work?
Yeah, they'll tell you ahead of time like what they expect you to show up in. But if you don't have lab, usually I just come in casual. I've never seen anyone wear shorts, but usually it'd just be like jeans and a school t-shirt.
Yeah, our building is really cold, so yeah, I've never seen shorts either, but you would probably freeze if you were wearing shorts.
Yeah.
And then our next question, was there a Facebook group made for the first year UH pharmacy students before the school year starts? I've seen some already made for other pharmacy schools. I also wanted to find a roommate that way as well. So Lola's answer was yes, there is a Facebook group and GroupMe that are normally made. I actually found my P1 roommate through our GroupMe chat made before the semester started. So actually, I believe our director of admissions, Mr. Morgan Ailey, sends out an email with that information on the Facebook group. So yeah, they are created like before the semester starts, so you can start making those connections. So if you haven't, like if you've been admitted and you haven't heard or gotten an email regarding that, just send me an email. I'll drop my email in the chat and just let me know so I can send you that information. But yes, that group is created before starting school. Our next question, how long are the classes for the different years? Lola's answer was they can vary. The shortest class duration is 50 minutes and the longest will most likely be skills or immersive labs being around 3 hours. First year of school is 9 to 5 every day. Just Fridays have different times. So Monday through Thursday, I guess your P1 year, Monday to through Thursday, it's 9 to 4:30 usually, but some Fridays end earlier than others. Fridays are typically only exams, so you would only be here for 1 to 2 hours at most on Fridays. So then I guess it'll be a little bit different for Fridays and you get to go home early. So yay. We don't have any other questions. Tyler, thank you so much for staying behind and for helping today. And thank you for taking time out of your day. Thank you to everyone that joined us today and that are still here, even though we went 11 minutes over. But I hope you found this content helpful. Again, we will be posting it on YouTube, so just go ahead and have that added to like your favorites so you can be notified of when they are posted. But that's all for me. You all have a good day. Bye.